Now guys, this all started about a week ago. My battery had went dead. I jumped myself from my Altima because I just happened to be riding in tandem with my wife. And my battery crapped out a few days after that. And it was outside of warranty, so I paid for a brand new battery. Again, the alternator's still charging, but listen to that whine. And the noise is definitely coming from down there. So rather than just wait until it fails completely, I got a replacement OEM unit. It should be pretty much plug and play. I am gonna have to remove the power steering pump, but that's not that big of a deal. Honestly, I'm trying to see if I can get away with removing the pump and not removing any of the lines, mainly the high pressure line, because I don't want transmission fluid going into my replacement alternator. This alternator is completely squeaky clean. And there's not a speck of oil on that thing down there. The replacement unit is a little oily, but it looks practically brand new otherwise. And we did get it bench tested at O'Reilly's, and it works. So we're not just blindly replacing things. We made sure we did our due diligence and tested the used unit to make sure it works before we go through the hassle of pulling everything out. This repair shouldn't be that big of a deal. Welcome to the Camper Dan Files. My name is Chris, and in today's video, we are going to attempt to replace my alternator on my 2001 R50 Pathfinder 4x4 5-speed. It's still charging. However, my fear is that it's not oscillating the charge like it's supposed to be. And I have a new battery now that I had to pay full price for because it was outside of the warranty and the prorate. So I'm just trying to make sure that I don't damage my new battery. As you guys would have seen a few days ago in a short that I posted, I do have a OEM Hitachi replacement that I picked up at the local junkyard. So right now we're draining some coolant. As you guys would have seen in the previous clip, it's just slowly draining there. And we're gonna go ahead and get the radiator hose disconnected here. We already have the fan shroud unbolted here at the top. We got to get this overflow coolant line off. And once we get the upper radiator hose removed, we're then going to go ahead and work on getting the bottom of the fan shroud unclipped. And then from there, we'll see if we can get the shroud out. We'll then take the fan and clutch assembly off of the front of the engine here. So stick around. So right now what I'm trying to do is remove the lower portion of the fan shroud. We don't need to drain the entire radiator, so I'm actually gonna close the drain here. So from underneath, you have this tab right here, this one. All you're gonna do is pull down on the shroud and go like so. And then right over here, there's a tab. I'm gonna depress that, and that moves the bottom of the shroud away. Because this is a two-piece deal here. And inside, there's some more tabs. See, there's one right here. I'll try and put a pointer in the video to better illustrate for you guys. But on the other side of the shroud, there's gonna be a few more of those tabs. See, there's one up here, right here. You depress that. That allows the bottom of the shroud to be freed from the top portion. You might have to work at this a little bit. There's another few of them over here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it in view for you guys. You just have to take my word for it. But right here on the driver's side of the radiator is gonna be two tabs up here. And you have to depress those, and that will allow the bottom of the shroud to come free. And once you get that free, you can slide this down. All right, so a partial win. We were able to successfully remove the bottom section of the fan shroud, and more importantly, we didn't break anything. So you turn this guy around. So the left side here where it says B, that's the driver's side. Obviously over here, that's the passenger side. And then you have this tab right here. And then you have this tab right here. This one that I showed you guys on the bottom. And then this one right here. And then this one right here. You have to depress those to get this off. And now that we have the bottom section of the fan shroud off, we'll now be able to take the top section off. There's nothing holding it. It's already been loosened. So we're gonna flex our upper radiator hose out of the way. Careful with our cable here. I believe that's a cruise control. And then from there, oh, the overflow coolant hose is still attached here on the right corner. So we'll just gently pull that out of the way. Boom. Now it's completely free. I'm just gonna show you guys that really quick. So your coolant overflow hose, it gets nestled right here. So you need to make sure you remove that also. Otherwise the shroud will not be coming out. So if you start pulling at things and you notice that the shroud isn't coming willingly, that's gonna be why. Should be able to just pull this upward. Again, you have to pull it away from the radiator and then up. Probably want to consider taking off the engine cover too. But there it is. All right, so we've just given birth to our fan shroud. We'll get this out of the way along with the lower section of the shroud. So now we can see the next thing we're probably going to take off is the fan and clutch assembly. For right now, we're going to go ahead and also cap off the radiator. I don't want any junk falling into it. So we're gonna go ahead and get some box wrenches and get the fan clutch removed. This is gonna be a 10 mil setup for the fan clutch and fan assembly. So you definitely want to do this while the belt is still on to give you a little bit of tension. Not saying that it's not gonna spin. You know, things are still gonna spin, but at least you'll have some leverage. So there's one. We'll reach down here and get another one. I know you guys probably can't see that well, but I'll do my best to try and provide and shed as much light as I can on this situation here. Yeah, I want to document things for you guys, but my main objective is to get this done and waste as little time as possible. And more importantly, not break anything. So if the footage is not quite what you were expecting, I do apologize in advance. But just understand, you know, priorities are a little different today. Yeah, and these nuts shouldn't be that big a deal to remove. And you definitely want to do things in this order. You want to get the shroud out of the way. You can remove the fan and clutch assembly while the shroud is still in here, but then you'll have to turn around and fight to get the shroud out of the way while trying to juggle the fan clutch, and that's not fun. And you want to try not to damage anything, mainly your radiator, because those are not cheap. There you go. There, so we just use the leverage, and now these fasteners are loose. I'm gonna have to do this bare hand just to make sure I have some kind of dexterity, or we'll just use the open end of our wrench here. You want to keep a track of all of these fasteners. Granted, almost all the nuts and bolts on this truck is pretty similar, so you can take nuts and bolts from other places and put them in other places and they'll work just fine. But I'm really particular when it comes to this type of stuff. I'd rather put things back exactly where I found it. You know, kind of like a master mechanic, although I'm definitely not that, but I like to pretend to know what I'm doing. And you notice I'm still using the wrench, even though I already have things pretty loose. It's just due to the age and, you know, oxidation, rust, and whatever other things present here on this R50. And you want to be really careful while handling your fan, because again, you want to make sure you have a good hand on it. You drop it, and it's going to puncture your radiator. Here's our fan off of the front of the R50. We're gonna go ahead and put this out of the way so we could continue wrenching. So now, with the shroud, fan clutch, and fan out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and get the idler pulley, in this case, because your R50 has two of them. If your R50 is 2001 to 2004, you have this pulley here. That's one idler pulley, and then your AC compressor has its own. We're gonna be loosening up this one. What we're gonna do is loosen this nut in the front. I believe it's a 13 or a 14. Underneath is a tensioner bolt. We're gonna loosen that, and then this should move downward and away from the belt, so that way we can get the drive belt off. Yeah. Let's see if my guess was right. Here we have a 13. Nope, not at all. So it's a 14. Just grab that. Loosen that guy. You don't want to take it all the way off. You can, but there's really no need. And I'll take you guys underneath so I can show you the tensioner bolt. Now, because of limited space, I'm not going to keep you guys down here because you're not really going to be able to see too much of what I'm wrenching on. But that right there is going to be your tensioner bolt. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen that to get tension off of our belt. So for right now, I'm gonna keep you guys in view of the tensioner. And what you're gonna do is keep an eye on things there, and you're gonna see where we start to develop some slack on that pulley, and ultimately we'll then be able to remove the drive belt. All right, so for this particular bolt, it's gonna be a 12 millimeter. You guys should now be able to see the idler pulley rocking back and forth as I got things loose there. Yep, there it goes. So it's nice and loose now. There's our belt. I got plenty of slack, I think. Let me see if I can get the belt off. Yep. There's our belt. Whoa. Huh. I guess it's time for a new belt also. Let me see if I can get that in focus for you guys. I changed this belt pretty much as soon as I got the R50. But I think with the alternator doing what it's been doing, it's been stressing the belt. You guys see those cracks? There's one right there. And then there's another one here. So I'll get a new belt ordered up, but this one's definitely going back on for now because I don't have a replacement on hand and I need to do this repair now. So it's not anything that's gonna fall apart in 2 seconds, but we'll definitely change it. This belt is only 3 years old. That's kind of disheartening to see that it's failing already, but whatever. Nothing lasts forever, and then you got to think about how long that belt was on the shelf before I got it. Right there is a fastener that holds the alternator. Here's the idler pulley. See how it kind of overlaps the alternator? There's a bolt right there that holds the pulley to the front of the engine. There's another one right there. So we'll probably remove both of these. And we're also going to go ahead and pull our power steering pump, which is right here. So I think my next plan of attack is actually going to be to undo the bolts that hold the pulley. Oh, there's 3 bolts that holds the tensioner pulley. There's the 3rd one right here. But only 1 bolt right here that holds the bottom side of the alternator. And then of course, you know, you got to get it unplugged and get the positive battery cable removed from the back side. There's the plug right there. So there's a positive, and then that connector right there, that's gonna be the control feature for the alternator. And then on the back side of the alternator, there should be a ground cable, a very small one. All right, so I decided to grab it. We're gonna use this thing to get out some of those fasteners. Again, nothing wrong with using power tools to remove things. You just don't wanna be using it to torque things down. And yeah, I know some of you are gonna say, oh, that's not necessary. He's removing all this extra stuff. And I'm doing it because sometimes you have to go slow to go fast. I tell my wife this all the time. Like I said, I find when you try and cut corners, it ends in disaster. So I'm willing to just go the extra step so I can have a better experience with the repair. If you can do it without removing all this stuff, more power to you and go right ahead. But don't come for me. That's all I'm saying. If it's your rig and you're working on it, you do what you want. And since it's my rig and I'm the one that's working on it, I'll do what I want, respectfully. I'm just saying. See, the main reason why I'm gonna remove the power steering pump is because I can't readily see what's going on with the alternator with this thing in my face. But what I'm hoping is that I can remove the power steering pump, not undo the high pressure line, and just basically like just finagle it forward so I can see what's going on with the alternator and get it out and then back in again. That's all I'm trying to do. I believe this was also a 12. It might be a 14 to get in there, but let me assess this and see. So there's one. Yeah, so far so good. Everything's been going our way. Hopefully we can continue trending this way. And if so, like I said, it makes the repairable that much easier. I was gonna put this off until tomorrow, but my co-worker Esteban is coming over with his Honda Accord. Tomorrow I have to do an oil change and I have to change a serpentine belt on that vehicle. So I just figured I would try and knock this out today. Plus tomorrow I want to go to the junkyard. So yeah, use that. And again, so there is one more bolt. It's gonna be this guy right here on the right side of the power steering pump. That's gonna be a 14. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. Oh, that one is in there really good. All right, breaker bar it is. We need some serious leverage for that guy. It did budge a little bit, but it'll be in our best interest to use a breaker bar. As a matter of fact, when it moved, I could feel things twitching in my neck here. I don't want to hurt myself if I haven't already. There it goes. Probably should have lubricated this thing with some WD-40. We'll go ahead and use our electric ratchet to get that out the rest of the way. And again, pretty long fastener. As you can see here, this is pretty long. Man, these bolts are so sneaky. Here's another one directly behind the power steering pump. I'm assuming this is another 12, so we'll get in there and get that too. Yeah, guys, it is so tricky. Like, I just removed this particular component a little over a week ago on a junkyard vehicle. But, you know, when you do things in the junkyard, you don't have to be as organized. But yeah, I'm forgetting where all those fasteners are. But the good thing is I'm documenting this for you guys so you will know where they all are. Because I've done a really bad job so far. I'll be the first to admit it. Come on. What is it? And you're doing this blind. You can't see these fasteners. They're not visible to the naked eye. You know, a lot of it is just based on feeling around. And in this case, I'm using my camera as a visual aid to show me where these fasteners are all hiding. Okay, that one must be a 14. It's bigger than my 12. Let's see. And that one was in there good too. Man. Hopefully that's the last one. And again, this is just to get the power steering pump out of the way. Ooh, this one is really long too. Yeah, that's gonna take a breaker bar too. Okay, so that will come out. And there goes that bracket from the back of the alternator that everybody was talking about. That's another reason why we want to be able to access things there. Ay, where did it fall? Is this it? Yep, found it. Phew! This thing right here. You have to be able to get this back onto the back side of the alternator, otherwise you'll never get it to tighten up. So we'll keep these two fasteners together. and then there should only be one more. All right, so it looks like there's a 12 down there on that alternator support bracket. We'll get out 12, and we'll get down there and get that guy out. You guys aren't gonna be able to see this, but again, I pointed out all of those fasteners to you guys in the beginning of the video so you understand and know where they're located. All right, so we got this fastener loose. I'm just gonna take this one out with the ratchet. So to get the alternator support bracket off, you gotta remove that fastener there. And then there's one right here. And then the alternator should then be able to be removed. What I've just done there is taken my ball peen hammer and gently tap the alternator to get it free of its nesting place, if you will. There it goes. Ha! Hallelujah, it's free. All right. You're probably still not going to be able to see much, but at least I can get the pump out of my way so I can see what the heck is going on down here. Yeah, the junkyard, we completely removed this assembly. Let me bring you guys in for a closer look. So, more or less, what we wanted to be able to do was get right there. This is gonna be right there where my finger is pointing. Let me see, right there. And I'll put a pointer in the video. That rubber boot, that's one of the connections for the alternator. This is gonna be your positive. And then that plug that I showed you guys earlier. And then on the back of the alternator itself is gonna be a little itty bitty ground cable. We're gonna get that removed. And then from there, the alternator will be ours. It's already loose. It's not even in its nesting place anymore. We just got to get it out at this point. And let me see if I can get that 12mm nut off back here. I just wish I could pull the alternator forward and down a bit. Oh, and there's other stuff connected to the back side of it too. Oh, what fun. And I don't think I can access that from underneath, but let me take a look. We're now working down below, guys. I have to get this cable off of a support bracket. I'm gonna need a flathead screwdriver to unsecure things there. All right, guys, so I'll admit it. I was getting a little bit frustrated. I brought you guys back so I could show you something. If I can just get it in view here. And that's the biggest issue. There's like no room. When you guys see that fastener right there that's barely sticking out of the back of the alternator, that's that ground cable that I was telling you about. So before I can get things free, I'm just gonna go ahead and try and get that undone. And then we'll try and get the positive cable undone from the alternator as well. In addition to that, we'll also need to get this wire loom removed as well. All right, guys. So after traversing multiple obstacles here, I was ultimately able to get the alternator free. A lot of frustration, a lot of choice words, and just contouring myself and being uncomfortable. But here's our alternator, finally. Yeah, and I can definitely hear some noise going on inside of this thing. You guys might not be able to hear it, mainly because the AC in my house is not running, and the outdoor unit is right next to my garage here. But in our original alternator, there's a chip. You guys might be able to hear that, I'm not sure. But there's like a slight grinding noise. So yeah. Now the fun part, to get the replacement alternator installed. Here's our replacement. This one sounds fine, but we won't know for sure until we get it in there. And this is gonna be a lot of fun, because we're gonna be working partially blind. But I'll bring you guys back here in a minute. So one of the things you're gonna have to be wary of, guys, is this bracket right here. This bracket supports a wire loom. I'm assuming it's gonna be a few different wires, including the positive battery cable going down to the starter. So this guy was a real Peter to remove while the alternator is still nestled in the engine bay here. So I was able to uncouple this because it's a two-part. So I just took this off, and what I'm now gonna do is tighten it back onto the alternator here. I'm gonna make it mostly tight, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to adjust things here once I get it back into the engine bay. So I'm just snugging this up. It's a 10mm bolt or a Phillips head screw. There is one other item, like I said, that has to go onto the back side of the alternator, aside from the positive cable, and that's gonna be a bolt that goes right here. That's gonna be your negative, and then your positive right here. So I think my plan of attack is gonna be to get the control wire plugged back in after getting our positive cable attached here. So we're gonna go ahead and get this alternator fished back in there. So I'm currently running the truck. I still have to put the fan shroud back, but just listening to things, I think we for sure fixed the problem that we were having. I no longer hear that audible whine that I was getting from the alternator. And this one's charging. We actually had it tested before we even brought it home. So I stopped recording because I ran into a bunch of issues, and I don't even know what time it is, but I started this at about 2:30. Yeah. I'm gonna shut this off before it gets too warm. We still have to add coolant back into the system. And like I said, I stopped recording because I was fighting things a bit. And like I said, you have to remove the power steering pump. But let's just say I had to remove a lot more than just that. And mainly the support bracket that holds the pump to the side of the engine block. I had to take that thing off just to get the pump back into that bracket. Not fun. But the good thing is, it's done. It's over with now. The last things we got to do is put the engine cover back on, put the battery back in, and of course put the upper and lower fan shroud back in. Now, I just did an oil change recently on my R50. So the splash guard for the front of the R50 is also off at this point as well. That we'll have to get back on. Let me see if I can sneak this down. I believe I can. You just want to take your time with this because it's plastic, and if it's original to your truck, it's going to be really brittle. So just take your time, shimmy it down in there. It'll go. I learned how to shimmy things from watching Eric O over at South Lane Auto. one of my favorite professional mechanics to watch on YouTube. Aside from Scotty Kilmer, of course. But even Eric O watches Scotty Kilmer. I think we all do. Come on, let's be real. Scotty Kilmer is the OG triple OT, okay? I have one of my fan shroud fasteners here, the other one somewhere on the floor. It was supposed to be in my parts dish, but it might have hopped out of there during one of my moments of frustration. But it's in here somewhere, I'll find it. So yeah, we're just gonna secure the upper fan shroud. The lower section of it is just gonna go back in from the bottom. And no, I won't be filming that. It's really not that hard. Just try and put everything back. You probably will break some stuff along the way. Don't beat yourself up too much, because chances are if you take your R50 to your local repair shop, they're probably gonna break a lot of those same things for you. So just consider it a rite of passage at this point. As long as there's nothing that's quintessential to operation, you're fine. There's gonna be like wire looms and stuff like that that might get broken. Those things break all the time. You're not the first, and you certainly won't be the last to break one. I know I'm not. Now for these fan shroud bolts and screws, you don't have to get them mega tight. Just make them snug and everything will be peachy. I'm just happy that this ordeal is over. And yeah, we were kind of shotgunning the parts here. We definitely loaded the parts cannon, but we did it the cheap way. Initially, I wanted to just go to Nissan and get an OEM replacement, brand new. But honestly, I don't even think Nissan has those things in stock. And you're probably just gonna get a reman anyway. In my particular situation, I opted to go with a factory unit used from the junkyard. And I don't feel bad about doing so. This truck is a fun truck for me. Not going for showroom finish or anything like that. It's never gonna be perfect build like what some people would like to promote on YouTube. You guys know I keep things real around here. And this rig is real, and it's real old and just a fun rig for me. That's all it is. Because it'll never be perfect. Even the perfect ones aren't perfect. I felt like my truck wasn't going to be reassembled tonight. I'm just going to be brutally honest with you guys. I don't feel like I was going to make it. I didn't feel like it at all. I almost scrapped the video, to be honest. This is something that's not heavily documented on YouTube. And I just figured since I'm doing it, might as well document it. Because that's basically what my channel is about. It's about documenting my experiences with ownership of this R50. Come on, hoes, get in there. Don't be shy. There you go. Don't be shy now. There. My wife came out here earlier. She said, "You almost done?" I said, "Absolutely not." I said, "I'll probably be seeing you tomorrow when you're leaving for work." And with that, she just got quiet and walked away, because she knows usually when I say that it's because I'm running into issues. And she just knew to just leave me to my own devices and let me figure things out. And that I did. Sometimes when you're working on your vehicles and things aren't going your way, it might be a good idea to step away for a little bit, come back, reassess, and then, you know, start working on things again. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at that. I like seeing things all the way through. But yeah, from here, we just got to put the bottom fan shroud on. And I think I'm going to wait until tomorrow to put my splash shield back on under the front of the R50 here, because it's getting really late, and yeah, it probably won't take too much longer to put it on, but I've seen enough of this vehicle for one day. Just saying. I still love my rig, but you guys know what I mean. When you've been working on something that you thought was only going to take an hour or two, and you're still working on that same item, it could drive you a bit crazy. I forgot which one of you was it that recommended these, but I now have the anti-corrosion pads here. These help to keep the battery acid away from the ring terminals in the battery post. And they've really been working well. I've had these on my 5th gen Ultima for a while. As a matter of fact, the last battery that I bought for that vehicle actually came with these pads. This battery for this vehicle, unfortunately, did not come with any, so I had to buy some. And they're relatively inexpensive at Walmart. I just bought some, threw them on, and they were working well for me. I'm gonna put some coolant in this guy, whatever amount of coolant I have. Like I said, I doubt it's gonna fill it. Oh yeah, I don't have squat for coolant. So maybe, just maybe I might be taking the wife to work tomorrow so I can use the car. And tomorrow's day off number 2 for me. I get 3 days off. So maybe I'll just do that, because this is not enough coolant. When it concerns getting the alternator resecured, you guys see that L bracket? And I'll put a pointer in the video so you can see what I'm talking about. But you want to make sure that that's in there, because if it ain't, you can run that bolt down all you want and it'll never get tight. See how it hugs the back side of the alternator and onto the side of the engine block? That's what you want to see. That's how it has to be. And we can see the air bubbling from back there. It actually spewed out just a little bit of coolant. And once it becomes steady, cap it off. And that's how you bleed the air out of your coolant system. All right, guys. So here's a new tool that I picked up recently. This is the Zurich ZR4S. I'll also put a link in the description for this tool just in case you guys were interested in it. But it does test the battery and the alternator. There it goes. And if you fall below that threshold, it'll start the counter over. See? When I backed off the throttle, it started it over from 20. So there's 2,000. I'm trying to keep it right at 2,000. And there we have it, guys. We have a good functioning alternator. Thanks again for stopping by the Camper Dan Files. My name is Chris. If you found today's video helpful, go ahead and give it a like. And while you're at it, don't forget to share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, keep using your Pathfinder as a Pathfinder, on or off the pavement.